LeBron James is often regarded as one of the greatest NBA players in history and is compared to Michael Jordan in discussions over the greatest basketball player ever. In today's video, we'll find out why LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time. Player profile: standing at 6 feet 9 inches tall and weighing 250 pounds. LeBron James has played the majority of his career as a small forward and in multiple power forward positions, but according to the team's demand, he has also been deployed at other positions. James' competitive and versatile playing style has drawn comparisons to the various Hall of Famers, including Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. For the 2020 season, James's career has an average of 27 points, 7.4 rebounds, 7.4 assists, 1.6 steals, along with 0.7 blocks per game. ESPN and Sports Illustrated have ranked James as the best NBA player since 2011. James as an offensive player. As an 18-year-old rookie, James has led the Cavaliers in scoring against every opponent. He also carries several youngest 2 titles, which includes being the youngest player ever to score 30,000 career points. During his first tour in Cleveland, James was mostly used as an on-ball point forward, and although his strong instincts were perimeter-oriented, James was successful in establishing himself as one of the best slashers and finishers on the league.
Breakaway for the Cavs, gets it to LeBron!
James' mixture of speed, quickness, and size often created matchup problems for obstructing teams, as he was preparing for the blowing significant defenders and destroying smaller ones. These traits became more conspicuous in his transition, where he acquired a reputation for clenching defensive rebounds and then knocking over the defensive court for highlight reel baskets. Journey of being one of the best offensive players. Throughout this time, James was often condemned for not having a valid jump shot or post game. Teams tried to take advantage of these weaknesses by giving him space in a half court and forcing him to alleviate for 3-pointers and long 2-pointers. The technique was manipulated by Spurs coach Greg Popovich in the 2007 finals, where James converted only 36% of his field goals in 4 games. Miami Heat's coach Eric Spoelstra distorted James' roles to a unique one, whereas James spent more time in post and expanded his shot selection and precise jump shots. He also discovered working as an off-ball cutter in the Miami Heat's pass-happy offensive. Behind these advancements, James' overall score efficiency rose to historically extraordinary levels. During this time, ESPN's Tom Haverstrich and James' free throw shooting as his substantial weaknesses. After returning to the Cavaliers, James started up to encounter indirect age-related plunges in productivity, dispatching his lowest scoring averages after his rookie season in 2015 and 2016. His shooting skills were temporarily regressed, and according to NBA's ratings, he was worked as one of the worst high-volume shooter of the league. Despite these transitions, James survived to be an elite offensive player to overthrow defenses with body control, strength, and modifying ambushing speeds. For most of his career, James controlled the offense as a majority ball holder for his team. His playmaking proficiency is mainly considered as one of his decent skills, which has helped him in ranking among the greatest passers in NBA history. James is popular for creating simple points for his team with valid assists and performing uncommon passes after leaving his feet and through passive trade. His remarkable instinct is to find an open man has benefited his team in forcing other NBA teams to integrate some kind of element zone into their strategies to better cover the soft side of their court and stop James from passing to free shooters. Earlier in his career, James was denounced for passing in pressure situations, for passing instead of shooting in the final moments of a close game. However, his career progressed. James' clutch's performance acquired appreciation from various critics. James's defensive strategy at the middle of James' NBA career is regarded as a poor defensive player, but in 2009 he came in to be a proficient chase on block, which includes coming in from behind the opposition and evaluation to block the shot. James formulated into a better versatile defensive player. Miami Heat has relied on James to protect all 5 positions. Starting up in 2014, some critics reported a deterioration in his defensive concussions arising from a lack of action and expected age-related drops. After his second tour in Cleveland, James' defense progressively slumped as he lost his drive on offensive and often dwelled back on defense while arguing with referees. James delivered less help off the ball and was less asserting in shifting positions. James admitted himself to taking plays off at times, citing his approach as a chill aspect. He ultimately acquired a status for lifting his defensive level in playoffs, while some critics prefer James as playoff LeBron. LeBron James' legacy. James left his high school as one of the most hyped competitors in NBA history. After entering into the NBA, James made an unexpected impact and was selected as Rookie of the Year in his debut season. In In June 2011, he went to go name 17 All-NBA teams and compromising 13 times to the first teams, which are both NBA records. His 4 most valuable player awards are matched by only Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. James and Russell are the only players to win 4 MVP awards in 5 years. James has also won 4 final MVP awards, which is the second most of all-time records. He also has been successful in learning all defensive honors in 5 consecutive seasons. LeBron's teams has come out in the finals 10 times and has gained 4 championship victories. His 10 finals entrances are all tied for 3rd all-time record in NBA history. Critics have acknowledged James for having a decent finals record, but sadly, his team was defeated by an exceptional competition. On the basis of his career, longevity, and on-court performance, sports publications have always included James in the ranking of the best basketball player in history. In addition to honoring James' on-court achievements, analysts have also observed James' influence on player franchises throughout NBA, which resulted in his enthusiasm to alter teams during free agencies. James's fellow players have also commented on his stature. James is also posed within the context of being the next greatest basketball player of all time, which has resulted in endless comparisons to Michael Jordan. In a 2016 interview with Sports Magazine, James accepted his biggest inspiration was overshadowing Jordan as the greatest. Former generations who have been seeing Jordan's play regarded Jordan as the greatest of all time, referring to James as the biggest challenger to Jordan's reputation as the greatest basketball player of all time. Public image. By 2015, James was reckoned by many people involving his NBA players to be the face of NBA. His image was generated a critical impact on people. In 2014, James asked Commissioner Adam Silver to enhance the duration of All-Star interval. In February 2015, James was appointed as the first vice president of the National Basketball Players Association. Forbes has ranked James as one of the world's first influential athletes, and in 2017, Times Magazine listed as James as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. During his first tours with the Cavaliers, he was inspired by the local fans.
LeBron James with a rejection. Oh, LeBron tracked him down and made the rejection.
Pursuing his actions during the 2010 free agency period, he was named as one of the most offensive athletes in the US. But by 2013, his image recovered drastically, and ESPN announced James as the most prominent player in the NBA history. In 2014, he was nominated for the most popular male athlete in America by Harris Poll. 2 of James's rookie cards are amongst the most valuable basketball cards ever sold at an auction. 1 out of his 2 cards have been held for most valuable modern-day sports card, when it was sold for $1.8 million in July 2020. In 2020, the NBA and NBPA announced plans to auction the jerseys worn in the 2020 NBA All-Star Games to raise funds for charity. James's jersey was sold for $630,000, setting a record in sports history. There will always be people who will hold Jordan in his highest regard, but James is proceeding to anywhere as he is the greatest of all time, which means LeBron James GOAT talk aren't going anywhere. That is it for today. We'll see you in our next video. Bye bye.